Proposition 123 will be on the ballot in a May special election. Here's Secretary of State Michelle Reagan.
Special election indeed. It was an election that we weren't planning on having next year, but we're certainly excited that we are having it. You know, next year we're planning on having the general election in November, and then the primaries in August, and then of course the presidential preference election in March. This is a special election in May, and so we're going to be having 4 big elections next year. We will be preparing for all 4 of them. Statewide elections cost about $10 million, so this is about a $9.3 million affair, and it involves a lot of preparation. Printing of the ballots, printing of the publicity pamphlets, educating voters on what they will be voting on this special election versus the other elections, a lot of outreach, and making sure people's voter registration is updated, and if they want to vote early, that they're on those lists. So a lot of preparation is going to be involved.
And just to clarify, regardless of your party affiliation, you can participate in this May special election.
Yes, absolutely. Everybody who's a registered voter can participate in the special election, which is May 17th, 2016. And we would like to see everybody who's eligible to vote get out there and become a voter.
Tell me a little bit about financing a special election, the cost structure for counties.
Well, you know, we at the Secretary of State's office oversee all the elections, but it's actually the counties that administer the elections. So they do all the printing, all the mailing, they do really the heavy lifting. And one of the things we were really pleased about in this past legislative session was that the legislature wisely put in the legislation the ability to kind of change the structure of how the printing and the delivery of the ballots can happen. And let me just give you an example how that works just in Pima County. They're giving the counties the ability to save some money, which is great because we know that counties are really strapped for cash right now. So in changing the way that the ballot delivery system happens from precincts, which is just neighborhoods, if you will, to more of a congressional-based delivery system, without getting too detailed, just changing that ability saves Pima County about $50,000. That was something we suggested to the legislature. They added that in the legislation, and that's great because, again, it's a big money saver for Pima County and all the other counties as well. So when you're talking about $10 million, every little bit helps. $50,000 savings in Pima County is going to be huge.
There will be people for this plan and people for or who are against it. When does that language really start to take shape and then get forwarded onto your office?
We expect to see the organization that is going to be supporting Proposition 123. We expect that they'll probably be filing a statement of organization for their campaign shortly. And then if there is any opposition or organized opposition, they have to come in and file for a campaign. All of the letters or statements that will go in a publicity pamphlet, those are all due pro and con by December 4th of this year. And then the responsibility for printing the actual pamphlet and sending it out to voters, that falls on the Secretary of State's office, and we will be doing that for the counties, actually, to save a little bit more money for the counties. So it's all going to come up pretty quick here, but the deadline is December 4th.
There are a lot of people who sometimes think that special elections are bothersome. You know, they don't make the time for that. What would you say to them as the Secretary of State about the importance of participating this spring?
Oh, this one is very important. It's called a special election for a reason, because it is special. Anytime that we decide to put something on the ballot statewide and spend the amount of money and the amount of resources that we're putting into it, it's because it is something that we're investing a lot of time and attention in for a reason.
And that's our program. Next week, a tribute to veterans, plus Congresswoman Martha McSally. For all of us at Arizona Public Media, I'm Lorraine Rivera.